The bell above the door chimed, announcing a new arrival to the cozy cafe. But inside, the world was already full of soft chatter and clinking cups, and the sweet aroma of freshly ground coffee. Beans, in the corner, sunlight streamed through the window, painting a warm rectangle on the wooden floor where a girl sat reading. Her name was Emma, and the book in her hands was just an excuse to stay in the cafe longer, to breathe in the coffee and cinnamon air, to watch the world spin outside the window. She'd come here almost every day for the past month, always at the same time, always with a book, never staying long enough to get more than a cup of tea. She had a routine, and the owner knew her order by heart. But there was someone else who'd become a regular, too. Someone whose routine was to sit in the same spot, hidden behind a newspaper, stealing glances at her. His name was Daniel, and he was hopelessly, silently in love with the girl who came to the cafe every afternoon. He'd been coming here for weeks, always at the same time, always pretending to read his newspaper. And every day he found himself stealing glances at her, at the way her lips curved into the faintest smile when she read something she liked, at the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she grew lost in thought. He wanted to talk to her, to tell her about the constellations he saw in her smile, about the galaxies he found in her eyes. But he was a coward, and all he had were his stolen glances and daydreams. One afternoon, though, the universe shifted on its axis. Daniel looked up from his paper and met her eyes across the room. It was fleeting, no more than a second, but it was enough to send his heart racing. Quickly, he looked down, embarrassed, hiding behind his paper. But Emma lowered her book just slightly, a curious smile tugging at her lips. Had she been watching him, too? Was this all in his head? Had she been watching him, too? Was this all in his head? He wasn't sure. The next day, he came to the cafe with hope blooming in his chest. When he saw Emma sitting in her corner, he gathered all his courage and looked up from his paper. This time, she didn't look away. Instead, she held his gaze, soft and steady, like she had been waiting for him to finally notice that she had noticed him all along. Over the next week, their unspoken language grew louder. Stolen glances became secret smiles became silent conversations, and the distance between them slowly began to shrink. Then one day, Emma stood, gathering her book, and walked toward him. Daniel's pulse hammered against his ribs as she stopped in front of his table. "If we're going to keep staring at each other," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, but her eyes shining with mirth, "we might as well do it over coffee." Daniel laughed, a shaky, nervous sound, his relief and excitement spilling over at the tremor in his voice. He nodded, unable to speak past the sudden lump in his throat. She sat down across from him, and just like that, the silence of stolen glances turned into the beginning of something. Neither of them wanted to hide anymore. In the quiet of their little corner, they talked for hours, not about where they'd been or what they'd done, but about who they were, their hopes and dreams, their fears and flaws. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Emma leaned back in her chair, a contented sigh escaping her lips. "I've been waiting for you," she said, her eyes sparkling with unshed tears. "I didn't know you were waiting for me," Daniel whispered, reaching out to cup her face in his hands. Her skin was warm and soft under his touch, and for a moment, all the stolen glances and secret smiles came together in that one touch. The cafe might have been filled with chatter and laughter, but for Daniel and Emma, the world had shrunk to just that one corner table, the place where their eyes met for the first time, where their hearts beat as one, and where their story began.